Happy Telling Tuesday! Even if it's not Tuesday anymore and you're watching this, I hope you're having a great day. Today's story is inspired by the fable The Soldier and the Horse. That'll be in the description, and it's very loosely inspired. The story has a soldier. And the story I'm going to tell you today, I created for my friends in Uganda that I'm spending time with this week in a virtual storytelling camp. And we were crafting stories about a specific object. And this is the object that I showed to them. It's a samurai sword that my husband's father bought in his travels. And it sits above this bookshelf, and my kids, they come in and they always ask, "Can I touch the sword?" And John says no. But I touched the sword today. And here is the story that I told my friends from Uganda in storytelling camp. There once was a samurai warrior. And he woke up one morning just like he did every other morning, and he reached to the side of his bed where he always put his sword. But the sword was not there. Now, a samurai warrior is not a warrior without his sword. It always goes with him. That's why he slept with it by his side. But now it wasn't there. And he wasn't quite sure what to do. Of course, first thing, he reminded himself to stay calm, because samurai warriors are always calm. And then he began searching. He looked under his bed. He looked under his mattress. He looked between his bed and the wall. He even looked up in the rafters of his roof. Not quite knowing how the sword would get there, but he looked anyways. He turned his entire house upside down trying to find this sword, and he thought it might be nice to solicit some help in his search. But then he realized he didn't want to tell anyone. He didn't want anyone to know that he, a great samurai warrior, was without his sword. If word got out, well, those of his enemies could come and attack him, knowing that he was without a weapon. So he decided he didn't really want to ask anyone to help, and he thought maybe he should go out into his village and look for the sword. But again, if anyone saw him without a sword, then they might attack him. And so he determined that he would stay in his house until he found his sword. He ate a small breakfast, and he was determined not to let this get him down, and he practiced his routines. They were not quite as impressive without his sword. He did his push-ups and his other strengthening exercises to stay in shape. He ate a small lunch, but by dinner, well, the food that he had in his house was gone. He usually went to the market. That was not an option today. And so the samurai went to bed with an empty stomach. It was a fitful night's sleep, always worrying, tossing and turning. And when he finally woke up the next morning, well, he instinctively did what he always did. He reached beside his bed for his sword. And there was his sword. As beautiful and shining and sharp as it had ever been. And he wondered where his sword had been, until he realized it had been nothing but a bad dream. And oh, he was thankful for that. He went out and gathered his food, very, very much like the bravest samurai warrior with his sword at his side. Have you ever had a bad dream? Or has something ever happened that you wished was a dream? Yeah, we've all had that experience. Well, maybe today you can tell someone about one of your dreams or something that you wished had been a dream. I hope you have a fabulous day and find an object and try to tell a story about it. I'll see you next week.